Hey everybody, this is Josh. First of all, thanks for listening to the long list. I just wanted to jump in here because in this episode, we talk about a movie that stars the English actor Terrence Stamp, and we talk a little bit about his career and certainly a lot about his performance in the movie. But a few days after we recorded this episode, Terrence Stamp actually passed away, and so we didn't really want to let that go unnoticed. He was 87 years old. He had a long career, lots of credits to his resume, and he did a lot of work both overseas in England and in the States, and he's certainly a face that I think most movie fans will recognize. Now, some of his indie work and some of the movies that he starred in overstates might be a little lesser known, but he was also in Superman 1 and 2 with Christopher Reeves, Young Guns, Wall Street, Star Wars Episode 1, Yes Man with Jim Carrey, and a bunch of others. And he sort of had a career where in the last third he had a lot more supporting roles. Still starred in some movies, but a lot more supporting roles at the end of his career. It was a very impressive career, and movie fans are going to miss him. So rest in peace, Terrence Stamp. Welcome to The Long List, a podcast that celebrates movies and other pop culture through the storied art of rankings. There are no wrong answers, there are no bad opinions, and hot takes are always encouraged. I'm Josh Muller. Today I'm joined by my brother Jack Muller, and this episode is all about underrated movies. Underrated. Kind of a loose term.
Very.
Yeah.
It can be.
Yeah.
We're making it a loose term,
That's true, I guess, yeah. We're doing a little bit of a different format this week. We have felt in weeks past that we've gone a little bit longer than we would like to on our podcasts. And we've done that a few times. And every time we think, this time's going to be shorter, it never is. It never is.
Yeah.
Now we're saying that again
Quite
for
the
this
opposite,
one.
honestly. I feel like maybe like 4 pods ago, we were like, maybe we should try to tighten this up. And they just got
longer and more
two-parters.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're saying that at the beginning of this podcast, not knowing how long we're going to talk. Fingers crossed. We're going to try to keep this a more manageable time number.
And thus is us trying out a new format.
Yeah, exactly. You know. So we are just going to be going over 5 underrated movies, or what we deem as underrated. And we're only going to be talking about those 5 movies.
Each.
Right. So 10 total. And rather than doing, 5, 10, however many lists, we're just going to be doing the one list and kind of diving deeper into each of those respective movies. So we're going to be talking about 10 different movies today. The other wrinkle is that Jack and I actually know what the other person's list is.
Yeah.
We planned this out ahead of time so that we didn't have
the first time of doing that.
Yeah. And I don't know that we're going to be doing this all the time, but it's certainly a format. Whether it's underrated movies again or whether we choose a different topic, it's a format we can come back to, as we've said before.
Well, and you kind of alluded to another part of this episode is that this isn't necessarily going to be our top 5 underrated films.
Right. This
could be a recurring episode that we do where we choose 5 underrated movies, and we didn't really.
These are not the most 5 underrated movies of all time in our eyes.
Maybe.
We'll probably come back to it. Maybe we'll do overrated. Mm-hmm. That's a little bit more mean-spirited, but we could probably go for that. So underrated movies, broad term, we talked about it. Cast a wide net over something different to everybody. Could mean movies that we like that other people don't like as much. Could mean movies that are underseen, regardless of how they're received by critics at large. Could mean movies from the past that have been a little bit more forgotten. I personally tried to toe the line of all of those somewhere in my list. How did you, Jack, come up with your list of 5 movies?
Same. I tried to toe the line a little bit, but we each made a long list. We probably wrote down 10 or 12 movies each, and then shared them with each other. I feel like the majority of the ones that I really wanted to talk about all fell into a little theme together, which is these are movies that no matter what you might look up about them as far as Rotten Tomato scores or how much money they made or Oscar nominations, they're movies that you go up to someone on the street and probably 3 out of 5 times the people aren't going to know what you're talking about.
Oh, at least.
Have never heard of the movie.
Yeah.
So I kind of went with that. Save maybe one, but we'll get into it. Obviously, it's a
loose term.
But yeah, I kind of wanted to go with a movie that I would either the person on the street doesn't know what it is, or the person does know what it is and is super excited that
right.
You both know about it.
Oh,
we can talk about this.
We
together.
both know this movie.
Yeah.
Let's be friends.
Right.
Yeah, one of those movies. I also personally tried to not do like any repeats of stars and or directors, especially because there's a couple like one of the movies that you picked. I won't get into it. I probably could have picked 3 or 4 movies from said director and almost wanted to.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And then when I did, but maybe we'll save a whole episode for that director or something.
Right. Well, we also left off some big ones that we've talked about in other podcasts. That was kind of our biggest defining.
Yeah, I took those off the document. Do you want to go over a couple of those now, or should we just?
Well, I think Wonder Boys was a big one that we both would put on our top 5, our absolute top 5 underrated list.
Yeah.
But we've talked about it before. We're going to talk about it again. So
you brought up Babylon, which I think is fair because a lot of people don't like that movie, and that
didn't do well at box office.
Yeah, really didn't. But we kind of just talked about it a few podcasts ago,
right.
so we didn't really want to hammer home. Well, sort of did, but didn't really want to hammer home Babylon too much. There were others.
Yeah.
So we came up with a list that, are these the most underrated movies of all time? Who knows? But
no, I don't think so.
And when we read them, people are going to be like, "Well, actually, I love that movie," or or whatever. But these are just maybe underappreciated is a better term for this episode.
Yeah. Also, it's kind of fun to think about somebody who loves a certain genre or something, has a pretty good grasp on it, but there might be a couple holes there. And I feel like for each of my 5, whatever genre it's in, it's like, oh, if you like this genre and you haven't seen this, you're going to love it.
Right. Exactly. I would say the same thing about mine, Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to get to before we just jump into the list?
I don't think so.
Okay. So we each have 5. We're going to, instead of doing our 5 movies throughout, Jack goes 5, I go 5, we're each going to do our number 5, each going to do our number 4, and we're going to spend some time talking about each movie. Okay, so my number 5 movie is a 1993 movie. It's a nice take on a romantic comedy, and I went with So I Married an Axe Murderer, starring Michael Myers, Nancy Travis, and a really good cast of characters that, at least at the time were pretty famous. My theory is that Mike Myers was on the way up and a lot of people wanted to join forces and be part of his, rising star. I have no facts based on that, but that's just my conjecture. It came out, like I said,
he was already pretty, he had already done Wayne's World. No?
Yeah, that's probably right. I think Wayne's World was either 92 or 93, so that's probably right. Plus, he was a big star on Saturday Night Live and was making the switch to movies, and kind of only a matter of time. This is also, so it's directed by Thomas, I'm going to say Schlamme. I'm not sure if that's right or if I'm pronouncing that right.
Let's go Schlamme.
Yeah. And it was a modest hit, I suppose. I don't know. When I grew up, a lot of people knew this movie.
Right.
But it eventually grossed $27 million at the box office and has a 55% score on Rotten Tomatoes, which means absolutely nothing to me. But so I would say this is underrated because I love this movie. I remember the first time I saw it was up in Twainhart where our cabin is, and I saw it with Sam and Pete Fredovich.
Nice.
It was their pick, and they rented the movie, and I watched it with them. You were 5 years younger than me, and that was, you were probably a toddler at the time.
Oh, yeah.
So
I have no memory of that.
Okay.
Or I don't think I was there for that.
Yeah, probably not. But I remember watching it and not getting all the jokes, but thinking we'll get to it, but thinking the Scottish part of was just the hilarious, most funny thing I've ever seen.
We quoted that a lot growing up.
Oh, yeah. So basically the movie the plot is Mike Myers, who lives in San Francisco. Oh, by the way, it's a great San Francisco
Really
movie.
good, yeah.
Really good shots of the city. And San Francisco, man, just a great movie town.
Right? Yeah.
The city looks great. We grew up in the East Bay, so, I'm an East Bay guy at heart, but
San Francisco looks good on movies.
It really does. And I lived in San Francisco for quite a few years, worked there for quite a few more years. It just looks great. And then when you have, on the old VHS tapes, maybe not as much, but now I have it on Blu-ray. Actually, I have it on 4K. What's up with that?
So I Married an Axe Murderer looking real good.
It's underrated 4K. It looks great. So the plot centers around Mike Myers, who I don't really know what his job is in the movie, but basically he's a forlorn lover who has dated a lot of women and is a fear of commitment, and his parents and his friends are trying to get him to settle down a little bit more. Meets Nancy.
He's a local beat poet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a poet. There's the whole... I guess that's what his job is.
I actually think he might maybe own that place, because at the beginning of the movie, the first time he's introduced to do his poem, Woman, whoa, man, they I think his name's Charlie, and they say our very own Charlie, whatever his last name is now going to do a... So he maybe owns the place, but maybe he's just a regular poet. I don't know. Has a nice apartment. Hard for me to believe that
right.
a beat poet can...
Yeah.
I mean, this is before tech money came into San Francisco, so maybe that money goes a little bit better.
Probably much more affordable at the time, and every apartment probably looked awesome in San Francisco before.
Yeah. And movie apartments are always a little bit more extravagant than they probably otherwise would be. But so who knows what he does.
Nitpick.
What?
We can overlook that nitpick.
I'd rather see a good apartment than a bad apartment.
Me too.
So he goes to a butcher shop to pick up some haggis for his Scottish parents and meets Nancy Travis. They have an immediate connection. He seeks her out. What's that?
I said Nancy Travis.
Yeah. Easy to have a connection. I'm not sure that's what you meant, but...
Yeah, sure. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. It's just they start connecting, and then I think the first time he hears about it is from his mom, but she reads some wacky, sort of tabloidy newspaper, News of the World, maybe it's called. I don't even know if that's a real thing. And then he sees the story of these husbands that right after they get married go missing. And then as they sort of start dating, he finds out that she has odd connections to either the place or the hobbies of each of these missing husbands. And then his buddy works at the police station, so he has him track down some of these leads, and at first it leads to nothing. Then it starts to lead to something. Insanity ensues. And it's a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to say the twist ending, but
no. It's
also a 35-year-old movie or whatever, but...
Yeah, probably should have talked about this beforehand, but...
Whether we're not going to give away the endings?
I don't know how much... Because we're kind of trying to speak to people who potentially haven't seen these movies.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
So...
All right,
we'll keep it non-spoiler as much as we can. But it's 35 years old. Go see it.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a fun twist on a romantic comedy, and Mike Myers is great. He kind of does the Mike Myers bit, but he's not doing like a huge... immersive character that he does almost in every other one of his movies, I would say.
Yeah. I can't think of too many things. I mean, off the top of I can think of like SNL sketches where he's like a normal dude.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But
his movies,
as far as the movies,
Wayne, he's Austin Powers, he's...
Every character in Austin Powers.
Well, that's the other thing, too. He does the first thing, which was, at least in my mind, much more common in the 90s, where he plays... two different characters in the movie. Yeah. He plays Mike Myers. Guy's name is Charlie. Very straight character. And he also plays Charlie's dad, who's the Scottishest of Scottish people on the planet.
And then he gets to do his Mike Myers thing, which is awesome that we get kind of both.
Yeah. And the scenes with they start off right in the beginning, like the third scene of the movie, Charlie and his cop buddy.
Heed! Move Heed!
It's so funny. They also have the Scottish Wall of Fame, which is really weird and funny. That's a bunch of paintings on the wall.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's and he just goes for it. and they do, and somehow they work it out where both of them are on the screen at the same time. They kind of got to be a little careful because they didn't have great technology to do that. It's no,
Sinners,
or I was going to say Social Network twins. I forget wherever the Winklevoss. Yeah, it's not like that. You can tell. So they try not to get them on the screen both at the same time.
Right.
But it's really good, and he's absolutely hilarious and firing on all cylinders in those scenes, and I can't get enough of it. I watched it with Becky the other night, and she was like, "This is super dated," and I was like, "Yeah, actually, I haven't watched it in a while. This is super dated. Just wait till we get to Scottish Dad." And we got there, and she didn't laugh at any of the jokes.
Oh, jeez. Got it.
I was really bummed.
Damn. Had to be there.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, should we also talk about the
That
fun
thing has
little,
its own weather system.
our Densmere House connection?
Oh, yeah.
The final scene, they go off and they drive through the Marin Headlands, down windy roads, and they end up at this remote hotel in the middle of nowhere, and that's kind of where all of that's the last scene of the movie.
That's where the hijinks happen, for real.
That actual house is basically in our backyard back in Oakland.
Yeah.
It's called the Dunsmuir House, and I don't even really know what it is. I think they did events there and things like, it's like a historic house.
Yeah.
But like it's literally in our neighborhood, just like
It's
not
like
in the middle
we
of
could
nowhere.
probably hit it with a rock,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, it's like enclosed in a bunch of trees,
Right.
And it must be a historically protected place,
Yeah.
because you can go visit it there, and we did once or twice, and we were
Right.
just like, this is just a big house that's fancy.
But it was cool because it was like,
Yeah, then we found that out. Oh, so he made an axe murder. Pretty cool. Like we said, great cast of characters. There's cameos from Charles Grodin, Phil Hartman, who is absolutely hilarious, Michael Richards, who played Kramer. Alan Arkin's really good in this movie. And he plays, and Mike Myers plays another part, which is really fun. There's really cool jazz playing throughout the movie, which I think is, because of the beatnik angle of it. And it's just a great soundtrack. I have a couple favorite moments that I have listed here. One is Phil Hartman. He shows up as a guard they do a tour on Alcatraz, Mike Myers and his buddy. And I forget, Phil Hartman says, "My name is Officer whatever, but you can call me Vicky." I think it's Vicky. And they go, "Oh, we got Vicky. He's the best." So these guys live in San Francisco and apparently just do the Alcatraz tour all the time. Have you ever done Alcatraz?
Yeah, I did it for a field trip.
Oh,
Yeah.
good one. I've never done it.
Really?
I don't really have any interest in doing it.
What?
It's
pretty cool.
I think I missed my time. Maybe I'll go someday. Between this and The Rock, I feel like I got it.
Okay.
We got it. So Phil Hartman is just absolutely hilarious in that scene, giving him the tour and telling him about all the the different historic prisoners that used to be there, and this is when prison parlance is known as a bitch. It's just Phil Hartman is just so funny in, I don't know, everything he does.
Oh yeah.
R.I.P. man. It's we lost a good one. That's super sad. I don't want to get into that. Another favorite of mine is the Scottish Mike Myers. Is just funny. He pops up a few times, both at the house, at the party, and then at the wedding. He does, "We have a piper down," because a bagpiper passes out during their wedding. Really good. And I also love the bits with Alan Arkin. I'm not like super scholared in the ways of Alan Arkin in all of his works, but in the works that I have seen him in, he's just fantastic.
Yeah.
He's a great show up for 15% of your movie kind of a guy, and just let him cook for a little bit, and it's just great.
Yeah.
So I Married an Axe Murder, really fun take on a romantic comedy, very quirky, full of lots of Mike Myers bits, and a great San Francisco movie.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that movie in a long time until you put it on your list.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah. Wow.
It's a good one. I got it recently, like I said, on 4K, and I was 95% sure that Becky would love this movie. And she fell asleep in the first 10 minutes and wasn't into it. And she's like, "This movie belongs in the 90s. I was like, oh.
Is it outdated for other reasons, like insensitive reasons?
I mean, probably.
Okay.
I didn't really notice it that much, but it is
more just
extremely 90s movies.
Yeah.
They play that song, "There She Goes." They play it 15 times.
Yeah.
Not
well,
really,
I think that's
but it's
the
a
There
lot.
She Goes movie. When you think about that song and you're like, oh, it's in a bunch of 90s movies.
That's
I
certainly
think
the
we're
movie I
probably
think of.
thinking, yeah.
Anyway, it's underrated and a forgotten movie. Underrated by the Rotten Tomatoes score.
I guarantee
Underrated
you
by the box
nobody
office.
younger than
35.
right, has seen that movie. Well, maybe like 30,
Yeah.
because I've seen the movie. I'm younger than 35.
Barely.
Right.
Well, out in
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to get any
Hey
sympathy
man,
over here
I can still, say it.
for another year. Anyway, if you haven't seen that movie and you're willing to watch a very 90s comedy that nobody talks about anymore, Sorry Married an Axe Murderer is a good one.
Yeah.
All right, Jack, what's your number 5?
Okay, my number 5 is the film Primer,
Yeah.
released in 2004, written, directed, edited, scored, and co-starred by Shane. Was it Carruth?
That's how I would pronounce it.
His directorial debut. I've actually talked about this movie in the 2000s pod briefly. I said that he was some weird occupation, like a insurance person or something. That was wrong. He was like a computer programmer of sorts to begin, and like a mathematician, went to school for math.
You're talking about in the movie?
No. I'm talking about in real life.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
in
Shane
a previous,
Carruth.
yeah, Shane. In previous episode, I said
gotcha.
he was some random job, but he was actually like a computer program, which is not a filmmaker. So that was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
Before, like Josh said, it's extremely mind bending. It is a time travel movie. Essentially, you are following at first 3 friends, or
I think it's 4.
4 friends, colleagues, essentially working on something.
They don't explain it.
They don't explain anything in this movie.
Yeah.
So I'll just say that right now before I try to tell you what this movie is about. There is 0 exposition, which is probably one of the best parts of this movie.
Well, I wouldn't say that because there is a voiceover. We'll get to that.
Yeah, there is a voiceover who
But
does
in the beginning,
help a little bit. In the beginning, no.
They just drop you right in. They're
drop
not
you right
telling you
in.
what anyone's talking about.
The dialogue is extremely tech heavy, a bunch of like scientific jargon. You don't know what they're doing, but
I still don't know what
I don't know what they're doing at first, but they essentially accidentally discovered time travel. Then madness ensues.
Hijinks ensue.
Yeah, they build this time machine in a storage space, which is great.
Yeah.
Because they continue to go back there. One of the dudes essentially successfully does it and then shows the other one. Timelines start to get messed up.
Yeah. At first, they have a set of rules so that they don't break any sort of, I forget what they call it. They call it like interference or whatever, so that you don't have interference. But then as they go further and further into this,
well, and also the way that their time travel works is a little bit, not a lot of other time travel things do this, where it's like a closed loop time travel. That you have to put in the actual time that you want to travel back. So
Right.
like you have to turn on the box for a certain amount of time, and then you get in a certain time, and then you'll be going back however much time that was. They can't travel back in time farther than before the time machine was made.
right.
Which is one of the not a rule, but it's really interesting.
Yeah. And then they when they get out of the time machine, they go to like a hotel room so that they don't
Exactly.
run into their other self, and they cut off from the world. They don't have cell phones.
turn
Well,
off the
one of them
TVs.
does eventually have a cell
Exactly,
phone, which
so-
then ruins things.
But then you can't tell at which point that happened, which is like a big part of the confusion. Is
it's intentionally confusing.
because-
I'm confusing just talked about.
Yeah, because
Just
they
talking
go they go back to the very beginning of them doing the time travel stuff. So when that starts to change, you're like, was this happening from the beginning? And then, their dynamic changes. They don't compete, but one guy is getting a little more like, he wants to kind of take over, and this is his thing. He's the guy who's going down the rabbit hole a little too much, getting a little too greedy. And the other guy's the opposit. He's
We should also say the reason they're going back in time day in and day out, and only for a certain amount of time, is to find what's the next stock that's going to go up tomorrow.
Yes.
Then they go back, they buy that stock, and then
there's
on and
financial
so forth.
gain.
Yeah, they're doing it for financial gain.
Which they do immediately.
Right.
Like literally, I think the first time they time travel, they bid on the stock. It's not like It's not like they tried a couple times, see what's up. They're like, they do it and then they're like, let's
do it.
get some money off of
Yeah,
this.
let's make some hay while the sun is shining.
Stylistically, it feels very Soderbergh-y as far as handheld camera, and Soderbergh does a lot of timelines, messing with timelines and going over things again. Which
That's interesting you brought that up, because I was doing a little research on it last night, and after he saw those movies, Steven Soderbergh told Entertainment Weekly, and I quote, "I view Shane," meaning Shane Carruth, the guy that did the movie, "as the illegitimate offspring of David Lynch and James Cameron."
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like that.
So there's your Soderbergh tie-in.
Yeah. It also feels like a little Social Network-y. Like, it feels like David Fincher might have seen this and kind of got some vibes, especially in the beginning, just because there's a lot of fast talking. You know, they're in the garage. It feels a little tech boom.
Oh yeah,
sort of
definitely.
thing. You know,
They're definitely
building
for
their-
tech bros.
right. But like kind of at the beginning of that, you know, this is what, 2001
Yeah, definitely.
or 2000. What did I say?
Well, that's
early.
the only thing I gleaned from their early conversations, that they're trying to create a product. I don't even know what they're trying to create. They accidentally create a time machine. That's not what they're trying to do. But they're trying to create a product so that they can eventually mass produce it and sell it to some big company and gain a lot of money. That's the whole goal. That's the only thing that I definitely know out of the first conversations. Then a bunch of it, like you said, is technical jargon that went right over my head, and until things started going bad, and I was like, oh, time travel movie. Gotcha.
Right.
And it's interesting in the beginning how they handle all that. Not only do I not know what they're talking, but the four people are talking over each other very conversationally. And so I'm assuming that's an intentional thing. Not only do things move quickly, but it's very hard to decipher what everybody's saying, because they're saying things I don't really know much about anyway, and they're saying it quickly and layered over each other intentionally, I'm sure. So it's like a very conversational thing.
Right, and they do jump cuts to like later in the conversations
Yeah.
and things like that. But basically, amongst all, it's confusing, but it's enjoyable. And then I like went to Wikipedia and I just kind of like looked at the breakdown of
I did the same
of like what the storyline was, and then I was like, oh, that actually makes sense.
There's a little bit of a twist in this too, which we will not.
Yeah, there's a good little twist
know.
in this.
It's also a really short movie. I actually thought about running it back after
That
I
is
watched it.
another big one thing I wanted to say. As far as underrated or, you know, recommending this to people, it's like, man, it's 78 minutes long.
Just go for it.
Pop it on.
Yeah.
You know, you might be confused for
It's not
78 minutes.
Not
but,
even an hour and a half.
Yeah. And rewatching it, you know, you pick up on little things, but rewatching it it's still confusing. You could like watch it, not know what happens, look at what happens, be like, okay, that makes sense. Watch it again, notice things, and you're like, oh, I know this is important. I know this is where this is going. Still, you're an hour in, you're like, dang, I lost it. I don't know where we are right now.
I had a buddy of mine, Cameron, you know him, reached out and he was like, yeah, it's really good, but if you watch it the second time, it doesn't make sense. I was like, Cameron, it didn't make sense to me the first time I watched it.
Yeah, right.
It's like, I'm lost. I will watch it again at some point just to see if I can kind of pick up on earlier things that they're talking about. Time travel movies always have rules that they sort of adhere to, and they leave you clues, especially one like this where, you know, the time travel goes wrong and then all of a sudden there are multiple versions of
people
characters
walking
and
around,
so
changing things.
There are things that they probably leave in the beginning that I missed, but I do want to go back and rewatch it again. I also went to Wikipedia because I didn't have time to watch it twice before this podcast, and the way they explained it on Wikipedia sort of made sense, and I want to watch it again and see if I can pick up on the clues.
Yeah.
But it's a good movie. It's a good sci-fi thriller. One of the better time travel movies I've watched in a while. Should we do a top 5 time travel movie podcast?
Yes. This would probably make it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
I
But
think
it
this
was a
made my
fun one.
sci-fi list for the 2000s.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it made something. Really like this movie. I saw this. I got to screen this in film school, so I got to see it, you know, in a theater. And I remember, you know, just being in there floored afterwards, just thinking, I don't know what just happened. As far as underrated, I mean, sure, like not a lot of people know about this, but
It made $500,000 at the box office.
Right.
So that is not a lot.
No. And probably went nowhere after that, pretty much, other than screening in film schools for people as far as,
I feel like the people who know, it's like what you were saying. You see someone on the street, you ask them, hey, have you seen Primer? 9 out of 10, maybe 19 out of 20 aren't going to know what you're talking about.
Right.
But the 20th that does know what you're talking about probably loves the movie.
Right. And, it's weird. It's confusing.
It's wild.
I'm not surprised. I guess it can't be. I'm not surprised that it is underrated, I
Right.
guess is the way to put it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But yeah,
It's a good one.
it's a good one.
And like you said, check it out because it's not even going to take an hour and a half up your time. You
Right.
will be thinking about it at the
Yeah.
very least for the next day or two.
Yeah, you'll go up to someone. I just watched this weird thing the other day.
Couldn't.
Can't
What's
get
it
it out of
about?
my
Can't
head.
tell you.
Couldn't tell
Couldn't tell you.
Heard about it on a podcast. They couldn't tell me either.
They were stumbling all over the place trying to talk about what it's about.
Felt like I was in the movie for a second there.
I'm going to jump in the box. We'll go
Ooh.
back and do it again.
I love that they maybe I don't think this is too much of a spoiler. I love that they can't talk that well after doing it too many times.
Well, they can't write either.
Oh, they
That's
can't
what it is.
write.
Their
Things start to
handwriting's
get
all
loopy.
weird.
Their handwriting
Yeah.
is all weird. That's what it is. That's a good detail.
Yeah. All right. Why don't we take a quick break before jumping into the other ones?
Sounds good.
Okay. Coming right back. All right, we're back. My number 4 movie is called The Limey, which is directed by Steven Soderbergh. My guy is a maniac, and he just puts out 2 movies every 3 years.
His filmography is a tome.
Yeah, it's I love Steven Soderbergh movies. I haven't even come close to seeing them all.
Neither have I.
But he does a lot of big ones. He does the Ocean's movies, Magic Mike,
Aaron Brockovich,
Traffic,
Mm-hmm.
but because he does so many, so prolific, he's got a lot of these smaller ones. And this is one. Came out in 1999. Pretty good cast actually. Terrence Stamp, who's an English actor, has been in a lot of stuff. He was in Superman 2 as General Zod. What's up? Leslie Ann Warren comes up a lot, and Peter Fonda has I wouldn't say a small part. He's got he's one of the leads.
He's the villain.
Yeah,
Kind of.
kind of.
Confusing.
Yeah,
Or
not Primer confusing.
no,
but,
no.
but it's a good one. It's a small.
Well, and Luis Guzman. Didn't shout him out.
Saw him in an airport. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
We saw him in New York in an airport years ago. At that point, we only knew him from The Count of Monte Cristo, which also almost made this podcast.
It did. That might have to be on the next underrated list.
But he's really cool. And there's some other faces too. The guy with well, anyway, we'll get to it.
Okay.
So this came out in 1999, like I said, pretty much just a simple crime thriller drama revenge story that has the patented, we'll call it Soderbergh flair. Generally well received when it came out. Has 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I was surprised to see.
Underrated.
Right. So we'll call this one underseen or underappreciated because it's rated quite high. Also, the Rotten Tomatoes means nothing to me, but I'm going to say that every time I read a percentage. It only made $3 million at the box office, at the worldwide box office, by the way. At least that's what I consult. At least that's what I could find. Whew. And nobody saw it.
Yeah. I certainly didn't until you told me about it.
Yeah, it was good. I heard about it on some podcast somewhere, and they were like, everybody should see this movie. And I was like, oh, I'll check it out. This was a couple years ago. And I loved it.
Yeah, it's good.
It's really good.
It's really solid.
Basically, Terrence Stamp is an English lifelong criminal, recently released from prison, and he finds out that his daughter has died, and he travels to L.A. to basically, get to the bottom of it.
And exact revenge is his,
Yeah.
that's what he's going for. Right off the bat.
Yeah. He doesn't waste any time. That opening scene where he comes up and he gets one name. He's trying to find out what happened. He heard she went in there. And first of all, he gets his ass kicked. And then he comes back in. It's a really cool scene, actually. He gets his ass kicked. They threw him outside. And he slowly stands up kind of fixes his shirt a little bit, takes out the second gun from the back of his jeans.
I kind of saw it coming, but
Yeah.
but it was.
It just goes in. You don't
Oh
see
wait,
what,
no, I didn't see that coming. When he comes out again with both guns,
Yeah.
that was a cool detail.
Oh, man.
no,
Yeah.
but there are a couple moments, and this is one of them in this movie where I out loud was like, oh, like
Here we go.
yeah, going for it.
Yeah, and
Also, when he throws the guy off the roof
at the party.
at the party, it's just like. Dude, Terrence Stamp in this movie is, I don't even know what to say about his performance.
Yeah.
I think we should say that he's kind of like overdoing it and like
Yeah.
what is his character, but it's consistent all the way through,
It
so I
works.
just love it.
Yeah. Is it a good performance? I don't know,
I
but
don't
it
know,
works
but
for the
it's-
movie.
It's a performance.
By the end of it, I'm like, yeah.
He's like walking weird a lot, and he's like,
Well, he's like 75 years old.
nah, but he's like moving his butt.
Oh,
He's like
yeah,
strutting
he's-
his stuff sometimes. The scene where he goes into the office and yells at that, not the first, well, he goes into a lot of offices now that I think about it. He goes into an office and he just starts talking to the guy for like a long time and making this big weird speech in English. Also, there's a recurring thing that nobody knows what he's saying. And the guy goes, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
That's
after
when he
he's-
goes in and talks to, I think it's like a narcotics officer or
Right.
something. Who
He's
like,
just like, he's just moving weird in that movie.
yeah. That scene's weird too, because this guy's definitely like killed 9 dudes and at that point in the movie, and they somehow know about it and they just like let him go continue to wreak havoc on this
Yeah.
group of people that they're sort of after because they want the I mean, like, no actual narcotics officer would do that, but
No.
it works.
Yeah.
Because I get to see Terrence Stamp just kick some more ass.
Right. I couldn't tell if that guy was a cop or not a cop. Like I thought he
Definitely
was
a cop,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
At
he's
the
a shady
beginning,
cop.
well, I guess, yeah. He
don't know. It's hard to
operates with his own set of rules, I suppose.
Yeah.
Also, that guy's in Predator. What's up?
I love that guy.
Me too. I
love
forget
when
his
he
name.
shows up.
Look it up. It's really good. But yeah, it's a pretty simple, short crime thriller. I think it's probably around 90 minutes as well.
Yeah. It's like exactly an hour and a half, I think.
Yeah,
I think it's an hour and 30 minutes.
love those type of movies. Let's just get right to it. And it has a really cool. I mean, it's gritty. It's a revenge neo-noir film.
Bill Duke.
Bill Duke, yeah, from Predator.
Yeah.
So good. He's the guy that if you're listening at home and you love Predator, which you should, he's the guy that breaks the razor on his face as he's trying to shave, and he's kind of a spacey dude. He's really good in that movie.
He's also in Sister Act 2, Menace to Society, Payback.
Oh, Payback.
Payback.
Another Mel Gibson one.
Oh.
The other thing I like about Limey is that it has a really interesting editing style. Like, they constantly do quick cuts and flashbacks as characters are continuing to say their dialogue, and they'll even like flashback to or forward to a different part in the conversation and show like a really like introspective, solemn face while the character is still saying their dialogue, and then flash back to the conversation while they're saying the dialogue. It's just really interesting.
Yeah. Sometimes I couldn't tell if I liked it. I liked the moments when someone would be saying something and then you would clearly be getting cut to a scene like of what you're saying, of them just thinking really introspectively.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it's like they're saying something in like different scenes, or like a conversation somewhere like will continue,
Yeah.
but they'll be in a car. But
Yeah.
it'll be literally like the
The
next
same conversation.
which actually happens in another movie that we're going to be talking about later.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it was just like, why are they doing this?
I don't know. I just think Soderbergh was
Like
like
sometimes it's like correcting things that are happening. You know
yeah,
what I
it's a
mean?
little off-putting in the beginning. Actually, that's funny. When we were deciding to do this, I chose the Limey right away. And then when I watched it again, I was like, like in the beginning of the movie when they were doing this a lot, especially with the conversation with Luis Guzman,
yeah.
it's like, it's disorienting.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I should pick a different movie. But then I finished watching the movie and I was like, nah, this movie's awesome.
Bro, yeah, it's super good. I was pretty hooked.
And yeah, the scene where he throws the guy off the roof, the guy is Peter Fonda's muscle. Peter Fonda is like, he plays like some high up record producer that it basically helps facilitate a drug deal by laundering the money. That's how I took it.
Right. And it's just like him trying to make a quick buck. He's not really a criminal.
No,
he
he's
just
not.
does this one job.
Yeah.
And it, kind of messes with him.
Yeah. And, well, I don't want to give away the ending, but that's kind of how...
It's a really good ending.
It is a really good ending. But anyway, the muscle, he comes over to like kind of rough Terrence Stamp up at a party, or at least question him a little bit, and Terrence Stamp wastes no time, headbutts the guy in the face, and throws him off the roof.
In the middle of a huge party.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people there.
And only Peter Fonda is the one that sees him. Nobody else knows that it happens.
And I feel like he sees it as he's turning his head, so it was out of the corner of his eye.
Yeah.
So he wasn't really sure what he saw. And then he goes to investigate it, and Terrence Stamp, who's looking for and wants to exact revenge on Peter Fonda, kind of just walks out of the party and smiles at Peter Fonda, being like, "Not yet,
right.
Soon, I'm coming
smiles,
for you."
Super badass.
Yeah. Also, you mentioned earlier that no one understands what he's saying. He's speaking in a Cockney accent. I'm probably not going to get this totally right, but as I understand it, a lot of what the Cockney dialect is so he says, "I'm going to go take a butcher's around the house."
And he's like, "A butcher's?
"A butcher's?" And he's like, "A butcher's hook, a look." So they say something that eventually will, the butcher's rhyme with look.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 of those.
Yeah. Well, you know how another Steven Soderbergh movie that that he does that in is at least one is Ocean's 11 with Don Cheadle, who does a bad English accent in that movie, but he does that a couple times. Something with Barney Rubble. We're in Barney. And he goes, "What?"
Barney?
He goes, "Barney Rubble, trouble." And so that's definitely a thing.
Good call.
Thank you. I struggled remembering it, but I got there.
Nice. Yeah.
So at least that's a 2-time Soderbergh thing that he goes back to. He probably does a lot because the guy makes 50 movies, but I haven't seen them all.
Yeah.
And I'm going to before the Steven Soderbergh episode.
That's going to be a 2-parter.
Well, yes. We don't have to talk about all those movies. We've already talked about the Limey.
So good.
Peter Fonda in it is kind of weird too. I mean, it's
Very
weird that he shows up, and again, not super scholared on all his work, but he usually plays a tough sort of brooding character.
Yeah.
This one, he's a little bit
softer. Well,
softer.
I thought it was an
bit
interesting juxtaposition with his Easy Rider character, because he's a record exec who lived through the 60s, and he's still kind of hung up on the 60s. That's
Totally.
an ongoing theme throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And that's Easy Rider is the quintessential 60s movie, so it's kind of a little bit of a callback there.
Yeah, and it's the yin and yang too, because in Easy Rider he's on the
stolid and
on the outcast. He's living the 60s personified. And in this one he's a high up record executive. I mean, I know it's years later, so I guess the character could have eventually tried to monetize the 60s sort of situation. But he's part of the counterculture in Easy Rider, and in this one he's making money off that.
Right, but he was a part of the counterculture, his character, I feel like.
Yeah.
He speaks
of it reverentially.
Right, and he has a really good 60s little monologue in there.
Yeah, he says something have you ever remembered a time or a place that didn't really exist or something?
Yeah,
and then he
just
said,
felt like it existed in your memory, but you had never actually been there.
That's what the 60s and then at the end he said it's really only 66
in the early parts of
67. It's a cool little monologue. Yeah. And I was like, that's Peter Fonda saying it. I get that. So, The Limey, really good movie. I wouldn't say it has a twist ending, but they wrap it up very nicely. We're not going to talk too much about the endings here.
Oh, and also the third act takes place in Big Sur, and that's an underrepresented place in movies, man.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Looks great.
As soon as they started going to Big Sur, I was like, yes,
we're
getting
go.
Big Sur. We're getting a nice mansion. I think there's 2 really cool mansions in this movie also.
And also there's a pretty good, closing shootout sort of a thing. That everybody is
really
fumbling
good
and stupid and terrible.
Hands are getting shot.
A lot like in Out of Sight, where the similar thing happens in a big fancy house. You never seen Out of Sight?
No.
Oh,
I know.
It's a good one. Mm-hmm. It's a good one. That might be my favorite Steven Soderbergh movie that I've seen. Maybe.
Can't be better than Ocean's 13.
Eh. Maybe not. But The Limey's a good one. Not my favorite, but a very good one, and very underappreciated.
Mm-hmm. And only an hour and a half long. Pop it on, guys. Do it.
It's a good one. It's a fun one. Even if you don't like it, you're not going to regret watching it. Jack, what's your number 4?
My number 4 underrated film.
We're pushing the limits on underrated for this one, but
No.
I totally support
right.
talking about this movie.
On Golden Pond.
Love it.
1981, directed by Mark Ruddell, starring Henry Fonda, the father of Peter Fonda that we were just talked about, and Jane Fonda, who is the daughter of Henry Fonda and the sister of Peter Fonda.
We're covering all the Fondas here.
We're covering the Fondas really fast.
Also stars Katharine Hepburn.
Had no idea that Jane Fonda was 87 years old.
She looks great.
That might check out for you, but she was born in 1937.
Yeah, I mean,
because I saw Peter Fonda, I like looked him up. I was like, oh, he's born in 1940. He must be like a little bit older than Jane Fonda, that like the older brother. She's older than him. It was just crazy.
is he still alive?
No, he died of lung cancer in 2019.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, she. I recently. That's funny you say that because I looked it up recently because I saw her on some interview with like I don't know Stephen Colbert or whatever. It was I can't remember, but I saw her on an interview and I was like, man, she looks really good.
Yeah,
I wonder how old she is. And
worked her
87.
whole 87, man.
She's
Good for her.
definitely a big proponent of working out a lot.
Yes, always has been.
Did a lot of videos
Factors into this movie, Tim.
Yeah, true. Looks great in this movie too.
Yes. On Golden Pond, Henry Fonda, Jane Fonda, Katharine Hepburn, Doug McKeon, and Dabney Coleman, William Lanteau.
That's
really
pretty
good
much
cast.
the whole cast.
That's pretty much the whole cast. This is a big one in our family. This is one of our mom's favorite movies.
Yeah.
We grew up watching this once a year in the summertime. My dad would go on an annual golf trip, and the three of us would sit down and watch this movie. Really good summer movie. It's about an older couple who return to their summer cabin that they, frequent. It's their cabin
Yeah, they pretty much stay there all summer.
on the Lake Golden Pond, which is a fictional lake, but
Yes.
it is a real lake that our parents visited. I mean, obviously they filmed it on a real lake.
Right.
East Coast. Ooh. What's the state? Doesn't
If
matter.
I had to guess, I would say Maryland, but I don't remember. But our parents have been there on an East Coast trip just because it's one of our mom's favorite movies. And I mean, I don't remember what the actual lake is called, but they filmed it here. It was a play first, which is probably why it's such a small cast.
Yeah. Feels like
And
a play.
It does. A lot of it takes place in the cabin. Very few times do they venture out.
Well, there's a lot of really good exterior shots and boat scenes.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
It does.
By the way, it looks great. We've said this before.
It
but
looks amazing. Really good shots.
on our new TVs with the Blu-rays, that lake is sparkling, and they make it look golden at the golden hour. It looks fantastic.
It's awesome. Like we said, summer movie. So Jane Fonda is the daughter of Katharine Hepburn and Henry Fonda in this movie. She comes and visits with her new husband and his son.
Yes.
She is not very close with her father anymore.
They have a complicated relationship.
Yeah, they have a complicated relationship. She's still close with her mom. They haven't seen each other in a while, it feels like.
Yeah.
It's kind of a reunion. And then she and her, after, they're together for a while, she and her husband bounce and go on a trip and leave the Katharine Hepburn and Henry Fonda, leave the kid with Katharine Hepburn and Henry Fonda.
Yeah.
Who are curmudgeon. I mean, she's not curmudgeon. He's a curmudgeon old
Katharine
man.
Hepburn's super
and
great
she's
and
like
bubbly.
the most positive, bubbly person in the world. It's fantastic. It's
Henry Fonda as the grumpy old man is just cinema gold.
absolutely hilarious.
He's
Great
so
dialogue. He does so little. I mean, he's just dry, has all these little one-liners that are just throwaway lines that just land. It's absolutely hilarious. Has a great relation. Him and Katharine Hepburn work awesome off each other. He works awesome with the kid. Or the three of them all have a really good bond. I mean, obviously it starts off the kid's a little punk and doesn't
want to be there. Why are you leaving me with these old people?
Yeah, they don't like him, the little kid, either. It's relatively mutual. They bond over time. You get pretty much the whole summer, which is nice. And yeah, it's heartfelt, cute.
Really good reflection on what the characters are feeling as they get older. They're coming to grips with the fact that they're getting old.
Yep.
I remember one of the lines is, you and I are both, Katharine Hepburn says something to the effect of, you and I are both middle-aged. He goes, we're not middle-aged. She goes, well, I'm in our 60s. I'm in my 60s and you're in your 70s. He goes, just barely on both accounts. It's really funny. It's also one of those movies, everybody should watch this movie. It's wonderful, but it is a movie that you can watch maybe once and be like, why do people like this movie? Mm-hmm. But there are so many little one-liners and little jokes and little things that it becomes, we've seen it 50 times, and
it's ingrained in us.
Yeah, and I love it. It's a movie that, again, I hate saying this, but it does warrant multiple watchings. If you like it the first time, you'll notice more and more little snide remarks each and every time you watch it, and they're all wonderful.
Yeah. Back kind of what we were talking about as far as exploring, them coming to terms with getting older. I love that, you show up at the beginning of summer and you go all the way through summer and, you kind of feel that at the end, you feel a little like, summer's ending. And I don't know, it's a nice little microcosm of what life is, kind of coming to terms with the end of summer and having to kind of pack up and the changing of things and the progression of relationships.
Definitely.
We probably should have started with this. This movie was nominated for 10 Academy Awards.
I was just about to say.
Including Best Picture. They both won Best Actresses. Henry Fonda
and Katharine Hepburn both won.
It won for writing, I believe, as well.
Adapted screenplay.
And then, obviously, 6 other awards it got nominated for. So,
wasn't underrated at the time.
It wasn't really underrated at the time, but I guarantee you, as soon as the 1981 Oscars ended, nobody ever watched this movie, besides my mom and us. I guarantee you that nobody under 30, this is a good 30, nobody under 35 is going to know what this movie is.
Might even be pushing it with 35.
Yeah, exactly.
It lost to Chariots of Fire. Here are your other nominees.
Good
Raiders
year.
of the Lost Ark, Reds, and Atlantic City. Good year.
Yeah, I've never seen Atlantic City.
Neither have I. I've never seen Reds, and I really want to.
Reds is good.
I hear it's very good. That's Warren Beatty, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I really want to see
Nicholson.
that movie. Oh.
Yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark is sick. Well, I don't know. I've never seen it.
I remember. Yeah.
On Golden Pond. It's great.
It's a pretty simple movie, but it's like we said, there's just a lot of good one-liners that we've said our whole life. Ethel Thayer is Katharine Hepburn's name, and he's Ethel Thayer. Sounds like I'm lisping, doesn't it? Is a good one. He also has a great monologue about, he's like, good God. He says good God a lot. Baltimore's gone. She's like, what? Baltimore's gone. He's talking about baseball.
He's looking at the newspaper at box scores.
Baltimore's always a sneaky little town. She's like, has no idea what he's talking about. But he's talking about the Baltimore Orioles.
I could list off 1,000 of those lines, but they wouldn't make any sense. So I'm just not going to bother. I will say that Becky, when she first, it's like required viewing in our family.
Yes. Oh, I had that in my notes that my mom had to show it to pretty much, anybody who was coming into our house ever that were our friends.
Yeah.
I had multiple friends watch this movie.
Becky did not like it the first time. She has since watched it multiple times and loves it.
Oh, that's
so. It's a really great, heartwarming, very funny movie.
Yeah, Alex was sold right away, which I was, because I remember Becky had seen it first, didn't like it. I was a little nervous.
It's great.
Yeah.
On Golden Pine, it's a good one. Number 3 on the list. Jack.
Also, sorry, I had one more.
Yeah, go for it.
One more little thing is this was Henry Fonda's last film.
Yeah.
And it was Katharine Hepburn's third to last film. And they were both cooking.
Yeah.
And it's about them, getting older.
And they were great in the movie. Going on a high note, man, winning the Oscar.
That
might be his only Oscar.
Really good scene. Sorry if this is spoiling a little too much. It's a really good scene where they go picking strawberries. It's kind of like when they first go out there. It's one of the first dramatic scenes you get, I guess you want to say, but it doesn't really start that way. And then he gets all turned around and gets like, the camera does all these things where it's kind of going around. The trees look really big, and he gets overwhelmed. He gets confused, and he kind of takes a tumble, and then she finds him and, goes and takes care of him. And she gives him this like nice little speech about being her knight in shining armor, and comforts him, all this stuff. And he goes, I never really liked horses. That's his response. And then they're good.
All right, my number 3. I'm going with Galaxy Quest.
Okay.
I love Galaxy Quest. So if you don't know, it came out in 1999, directed by Dean Pariseau, I'm going to say. I don't know how to pronounce that. Stars Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, Alan Rickman, Tony Shalhoub, Sam Rockwell, Daryl Mitchell, Justin Long. Really good cast.
Incredible cast.
And it is basically a satire slash spoof of science fiction, particularly Star Trek, and its fandom. And made $90 million at the worldwide box office, so made a lot of money at the time. It actually made me question of whether this should be going in the underrated borderline. Because this one, I would say this is more of like a cult fandom. Like, the people that love it, but it's not super widely talked about.
I feel like if you've seen it, you've loved it.
You should.
Or, I mean,
it's a
at
great
least
one.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah. If basically it follows sort of a Star Trek-y type show that has since been canceled, and they're actors. And they're, going and doing conventions and all that stuff, and nobody's really very happy at it. They're very clearly washed up. And a group of aliens, you don't know they're aliens right away. They come and talk to them at one of these conventions and try to take them away to space, to an actual interstellar conflict, because they have seen the show and assume it's a documentary and a historical document, and insanity ensues. It is wonderful. I love this movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
Alan Rickman is operating on all Alan Rickman cylinders in this movie. I think if he wasn't in it, it would probably be just okay. That's probably a little harsh, but it's great.
Got to be top 4 performances.
Yeah, he's fantastic. We'll save it for the Alan Rickman episode maybe, but it's funny, it's heartwarming. It's actually a really good, it does make fun of these things, but not in a mean way.
No, yeah. You said satire, and I was...
Yeah.
Well, it's not really having like a comment on it in a negative way.
No, not at all. In fact, the final... Whatever. I'm going to spoil this one a little bit. The final climax of the movie, they have to turn to one of the fans who intimately knows the ship, because... the aliens build an accurate ship based on the show. Yeah. And so the actors have no idea what's happening.
The poor aliens have done all of this work thinking that these are going to be their heroes. And
find out they're just actors. Yeah. And so the final climax of the ship, they have to call Justin Long, who's a super fan of the show, and ask him how to work a certain thing in the ship. Which
great,
I won't
Justin
get the specific.
Long.
Oh, it's fantastic! So very early on, and he's great. He's hilarious, and so it's just a really nice commentary, and it doesn't make fun of these fans, these super fans at all. It's done very warmly.
They are the heroes in the end.
Yeah, it's really good. Fantastic movie. Oh, and another thing I was going to say was that initially, what's his name? Patrick Stewart, who played some captain in some Star Trek at some point. I'm not a big Star Trek guy. Initially, I saw this online. He didn't want to see it. He was like, I'm not, Star Trek's a big part of his life, and he's a super classy dude, at least outwardly, and he probably has a lot of reverence for the fans of Star Trek. And so he says, I'm not going to see this. I don't want to be a part of something that makes fun of this, the thing that I am, that has taken a huge place in my life. And some other Star Trek cast member buddy said, hey, you really should go see this. Go see it in the theaters and make sure it's a packed audience. And so I did. And he said, no one was laughing louder than me. I loved every second of it. It was a really brilliant, smart, and loving portrayal. I'm aggregating, of course, what he said of the show and our fans. And he loved it. And there was a bunch of examples of former cast members or people involved with the making of Star Trek that really spoke of it reverentially. It's a great movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a good little tidbit. Never knew that.
Yeah. Jack, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is a little film called Brick.
Yes.
It's a 2005 film directed by Ryan Johnson. It is his directorial debut. Stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
And a cast of familiar faces.
Yeah.
The only one that I definitely know is Megan Good, but there's a bunch of other familiar faces that people would know.
Yeah. This was a low budget film, 450K, made 4 million. So made some money back. That's good.
Made their money back.
This is one that's, well reviewed by, film nerds. People like this movie. So it is certainly rated properly by a lot of people, but I do think it falls into my theme of not a lot of people have seen it or heard of it.
No.
It is a neo-noir, very stylized film set in a high school.
Yeah.
Revolves around a kid who is investigating an ex-girlfriend's murder.
Yeah.
It is kind of in this bizarro world where
It's so cool.
it's really cool and could easily not work.
Oh,
But it so does. And at first it's a little jarring. Basically what we're alluding to is mainly the dialogue, which maybe I'll just talk about this now, but this is one of my favorite parts of the movie is the dialogue, which is its own little language.
Yeah.
The first time you watch this movie...
Well, I'm sorry. The world I was going to say that you were alluding to before is there. It seems like there's like a noir world set at this high school that's very realized, and each of the characters that are in are all, they all have
in on it.
Yeah,
but like that's maybe just the
But they're
world
all
that
high
they're
school
in.
kids.
You don't get anything else. You get maybe 2 other adults. There's like no cops. There's a bunch of people getting shot. And well, I guess cops kind of show up towards the end.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's violence in this movie.
It feels like a 1930s gangster movie set in a modern high school.
I wrote down, this is Chinatown meets 10 Things I Hate About You.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. And it really is that. I mean, you don't like leave the high school. You leave the high school, but you don't leave their perspective.
You don't leave their world.
You don't leave their world. And there's people whose it's as if the funny thing is, it's like they've done this before. Like they're solving a murder in this movie.
Yeah.
But it's like they've solved other crimes and mysteries before, because there's like the guy in the chair role, the guy, the smart guy who goes and like does all of
Brain.
Brain.
His assistant that goes investigating and stuff.
And basically they have this whole language as well that they use where they have whole lines that aren't things that people say, that you're just like, oh, I guess I got to put together kind of what they're talking about here. Like little expressions like, hey, like they would use in old 1930s gangster movies.
Oh,
like
yeah.
what you're talking about.
And it's very fast.
It's super fast.
Yeah. The dialogue's really fast. My favorite one is that like, they're like, hey, do you know where she's been eating lunch? And you think that like that's like a weird thing, but then you find out, no, that's just who they're eating lunch with. That's probably not exactly what you're trying to say, but say it like
example.
3 or 4 times, and I was like, oh, what is this code for? And then you find out it's either actually eating lunch with somebody, and you're like, oh, right, high schoolers.
Right, but it's also like, as it is in high school, it's super important to who they're eating lunch with, because it changes, and that means that's who they're talking to.
Right, exactly. Like what they're saying, but they're also just eating lunch.
Yeah, and you'll like the cool kids also talk like this. Like one of the popular girls who's kind of an informant at one point. You go in and you meet her in a dressing room and you think she's about to be a normal person. This is like towards the beginning of the movie, and then she's talking like everybody else too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a super stylized, very cool, realized world that he created, and it's awesome.
Brilliant. Yeah, and it's a pretty classic. Mystery. You're trying to figure it out the whole time too.
It's great.
All these characters are really like creative. Like the Pin. What's his name? The Pin.
The Pin. Yeah.
Yeah, the Pin, who's kind of like the mob boss, is this like weird squirrely dude who is in the downstairs basement with all of this old 70s like lined. This is a mom's basement.
Yeah.
There's some great scenes in that house.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just creative. Really good.
Ryan Johnson's a pretty cool dude too, because we could have chosen any of his first 3 movies to like Brick is a good choice, but he also did his next movie was The Brothers Bloom, which is
seen it.
Oh, it's a good one. It's another fun con artist movie. And then he did Looper, which is a cool sci-fi thriller.
Time travel
also
movie.
with true. Mm-hmm. Another time travel movie, also with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And then he went on to make Star Wars, and then he did the Knives Out stuff. And
I mean, I guess he went back to the whole mystery thing with his
Knives Out is cool. I feel like he has full control over that, but
it's pretty good. Apparently the new one's going to be a little bit different, which is nice. I think it's going to be a little grittier.
Nice. But anyway, Brick is awesome.
It's awesome. Really entertaining stuff.
Really good one. Number 2, I have How to Blow Up a Pipeline, which came out in it made the festival circuit in 2022. It released in the U.S. in 2023. So I'm calling it a 2023 movie because it made all the 2023 lists that I saw.
Really good.
Really good, propulsive thriller with a young cast, all of whom are good. Directed by Daniel Goldhaber. Daniel Goldhaber. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Based on a book of the same name, and it's awesome. Basically, it's about a bunch of they're not all strangers, but I'm gonna say a bunch of strangers that sort of come together for different reasons, who all have their own reasons to disrupt big oil, and they choose to do
they're
it
like eco-terrorists.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to say it. They're eco-terrorists that try to destroy a pipeline in Texas. For each of them have their own reasons, and they jump you right into this story. It moves. It is, again, another pretty short movie that's just an awesome thriller. The music is dun 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 dun, and like gets you kind of juiced for what's happening.
Fast-paced editing. Before the title card, there's like a maybe 10-minute, maybe not that long scene of everybody kind of getting together with very little dialogue, just kind of like you're figuring out why they're banding up, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. And then gives you the title.
Keep you on the edge of your seat, grip the forearm of the person next to you thriller, and it's really good. And then, and I know you liked this part about it, as the story progresses, they really don't tell you much. They just kind of like start you off at a certain point and you go for it. But then as the story progresses, they take a pause and tell you each character's reasoning for what they're like, their backstory on why they're doing it. And I think there's 8 of them or something like that. So you get each of their stories.
Well, sometimes I think 2 of them are coupled up.
Yeah, a couple of them are coupled up. And that's why they're not all strangers, because some of them already know each other. But
no, but the through line continues as it goes, but then you get flashbacks in the form of, not of vignettes really, but you get flashbacks with the title card of each character who you're getting in their kind of story, which helps flush out what you're kind of watching.
Right.
And eventually leads to somewhat of a twist.
Yeah.
Which is good.
It's a good ending.
We didn't talk about what we've seen recently at the beginning of this pod, but I watched Weapons recently, and I was kind of like,
thanks for the invite.
Sorry. It was incredible also. I was kind of taken aback by some of the visual / storytelling things that seemed like Weapons was doing in this. I mean, very specifically, like the big red 80s looking title card of How to Blow Up a Pipeline was similar to the Weapons. And then they do the individual title cards for each of the characters for going back and explaining the story a little bit more. I mean, it was...
Yeah.
It was cool. It's really, How to Blow Up a Pipeline is really good. That was a good call. I had never seen it before you recommended it.
And I should also say, because we've said this before, it was received very well. We don't care about this, but it has a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it made no money. Nobody saw it. It was also pretty close to the pandemic, which probably factored in a little bit, but it's awesome. It's a really, really good movie and a fun action thriller if you're looking for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Jack, your number 2 is...
My number 2 is a little film from 1977 called Sorcerer.
Hell yes.
Sorcerer is awesome. And this is one that didn't do well when it was initially released. Didn't do well critically or at the box office. Bombed, essentially. And
idiots. Has
since definitely come back into the world. I think Criterion was a big part of this. They recognized it. I mean, it came back before that, but Criterion just re-released it recently. It's definitely considered by most film critics now, one of the best films of the 70s, probably.
It's a big cinephile favorite, especially recently.
Favorite.
It's gone through a revival. But if you
nobody's seen
right. If you talk to someone on the street, they're like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah. It is directed by William Friedkin. Stars Roy Scheider, Chief Brody.
Hell yes. Our guy.
Bruno Kramer, Francisco Rabal, Amidou.
Yep.
Who is also in...
He's in the movie you're going to talk about next.
That's what it is.
Yeah. I looked at, because I didn't, when we were making the document, I typed his name in and I was like, I've seen this guy's picture before.
Yeah.
And
I recognize him too, but I thought, for some reason, I thought it was a Godfather or something.
No, I looked it up and I was like,
it up?
he might be in the movie Jack's putting at number 1.
Yeah.
and I was right.
Yeah, he is. This film is about 4 people who have different reasons why they have to escape life and
Their
go
respective
hide.
countries, yeah.
Their respective countries. They go to, I believe, a fictional town in South America somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics
I'm
of
pretty
it.
sure it's fictional. They don't really get into it too much. All you know is that they're hiding out there. That's where people go to hide. And then they enlist themselves. They audition essentially to help blow up an oil derrick from exploding, essentially, which is the only way you can stop an oil derrick from exploding.
Yeah, so the oil derrick gets caught on fire. It's spitting fire into the, cosmos or whatever.
Awesome
and
visual.
It looks so great, but they have to stop it in order to continue the oil production for various reasons. And the only way they can do it is to get this super volatile, not stored properly,
right? It's old
nitroglycerin.
It's old, dynamite sticks?
Yeah.
That have been sweating because they're out of date.
They're being stored in the jungle.
Yeah, nitroglycerin is leaking in these little boxes, and they have to get it over a mountain, essentially, in 2 cars, which, on dirt roads, in the rain, in a fucking jungle.
Yeah. They're driving over rope bridges. They're driving to mudslides.
They have to put these boxes in sand which is brilliant also. They have to put these boxes in sand in the back of these old trucks and get it over the hill.
Awesome.
That's all you need to know. And
it's
it's thrilling. It is extremely suspenseful. Probably the most famous scene is I love that it's a double scene too, which I didn't really know was coming because I knew about the scene. They have to get these big trucks over this wooden bridge that is falling apart in the pouring rain, that is falling apart as they're going. This huge truck across this wooden, what's it called? What are those?
Like a rope bridge. Yeah.
And they got to do it, and then another one has to do it. Like, you get one scene of it happening, you're like, "Whoo! Oh my gosh!" And then the next truck has to do it, and you get the whole scene again. They don't skip anything; you just get it.
So good,
and it's visually incredible. Like the cinematography in this movie is great.
It's another grip the forearm of the person next to you movie.
Yeah, it gets really psychedelic at the end as these guys are going through it this whole time, and so at the end they're just drained, and you get a lot of nice, very abstract visuals at the end. I don't know. I can't. It feels very, I will say, it feels like a Christopher Nolan movie a little bit, especially with the beginning. It starts off, I knew the pitch of this movie, and the first 25 minutes, you're getting these guys' backstory of why they have to escape their countries. And they're all very different. They're all in different countries.
And they don't tell you what's happening.
And you have no idea what's going on. And I was like, what
am I watching?
Where's the jungle?
The whole, I mean... The second time I watched this movie was, a couple weeks ago or whatever. And I didn't remember that it took so long for the actual truck driving. It was like an hour into the movie.
Yeah, the first time I watched this movie, it took me a couple times because I didn't see that come in. I was like, I can throw this on right now. And then I'm like, I am not even at the jungle yet, and I got to go to bed.
Yeah. It takes a while.
Long. It's not particularly long.
No.
But it just... they take their time with it. And
yeah. But once you're in those trucks, man,
doesn't matter anymore.
Like, this is the only place you want to be.
On the couch watching this truck. When they're like, all right, we got to audition these guys. Who's going to be the best driver? As soon as I'm like, oh, we're going to get a montage scene of these guys driving around this thing. It's great.
Sorcerer is elite. If you haven't seen it, please do yourself a favor and watch it.
Yeah, you're going to enjoy yourself.
My number 1 movie is a little movie called Dirty Rotten Scoundrels that came out in 1988. It's directed by Frank Oz, the voice of Yoda fame, and directed a bunch of other movies. Stars Michael Caine, Steve Martin, and Glenn Headley. It eventually made $42 million at the box office, which was pretty good for back then, and it was received very well. Again, Underrated? I don't know. But nobody knows what I'm talking
No.
about when I'm like, hey, have you ever seen Dirty Rotten Scoundrels? You know who turned me on to this movie? I'm not going to remember his last name, but Chris D from Zazie was like,
nice.
hey, you should watch this movie. I was like, I've never even heard of it. He's like, just go watch it. And I went and bought it, bought a DVD copy of it, and I turned it on, and I was
It's funny, of all the
dying
goofy
laughing.
movies that we grew up watching like over and over again that nobody had ever heard of, this isn't one of them. I didn't know. I had never
and
seen
it
it.
should have been. It's fantastic. Essentially, it's about two competing con artists who are competing over a territorial turf in the French Riviera, and they, it takes a while to get to this part of the movie, but they pick out a certain woman to con out of $50,000, and the first one to do it wins. And it's a little bit of a slower start, but once Steve Martin gets on screen, Steve Martin is just like one of the most naturally funny people on the planet.
Right.
Kind of like what we talked about. I don't remember when we talked about this. Oh, it was probably with the Wes Anderson podcast when we talked about Bill Murray and how, yes, he's got that natural sadness to him, but Bill Murray doesn't tell jokes or do bits. He's just funny.
Yeah.
Steve Martin's doing it in a different way, and he's a very physical comedian, but
Right.
he doesn't need... You don't have...
This script doesn't need to be funny.
No,
He
he
will
could
make it
literally write some, like if I'm a script writer, I could literally write Steve Martin does something funny here. And he's just so naturally hilarious that the movie works based on that.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of the big parts of Father of the Bride.
Yeah.
Is that's like not a hilarious movie on paper.
No.
But he makes
it's
it
just a
hilarious.
nice family drama,
Yeah.
and he just makes it hilarious. Some things that work for me in this movie. Big time movie stars with great chemistry. An awesome location, and like I mentioned, in this case, it's the French Riviera, and it looks great. Con artist movies, I think those have worked for me every single time. I can't think of one that didn't. And the type of comedy that they're doing, at least to me, is timeless. It's not based on any sort of reference or a certain structure of a joke. It's just them being funny, and it really works. Probably my favorite scene in the whole movie is when Steve Martin gets arrested at the behest of his counterpart, Michael Caine, who is his competing con artist. And Steve Martin at this point doesn't even know that Michael Caine's out to get him, but Michael Caine's threatened by his presence in his turf to run some cons. And he has him arrested, and the police officer is basically like, you're a vagrant, you can't be here. And he's like, I'm not a vagrant, I met somebody who was Michael Caine. Again, doesn't know that he's his competition yet. And he goes, and he's like, who is it? And he tries to remember Michael Caine's, which is try to remember Michael Caine's name, which is Lawrence Jameson, I believe. And it's just
You can't get it.
90 seconds of Steve Martin trying to remember this name, jumping around, saying 1,000 different versions of this name.
He
and
really
it is
acts like a child in that scene.
It's so good. Oh my goodness.
You got to wonder if that was like a one take thing where they were just like, just go for it. Or if it was like he did it once and they were like, hold on, we're going to do a thing where you're just going to do this forever.
Well, I also wonder, because there's certain parts of the movie where you can see Michael Caine laughing at Steve Martin. And I can't imagine his character is supposed to be laughing. So I wonder how many takes they're doing of this movie, because Steve Martin is so funny.
Well, it's also interesting with that scene, the scene that you're talking about later where he's laughing. They it's not like a one shot thing where they have to include Michael Caine like in the same, they have to keep that shot because because Steve Martin is doing something particular. They cut back to him and use a shot of him laughing.
It's possible that his character is just supposed to be laughing, but it looks like Michael Caine is laughing at Steve Martin. And I can't blame him, because
no, it's hilarious.
That's the scene we're talking about as the con is Steve Martin is a really weird and possibly insensitively portrayed younger brother who has certain mental disabilities, and his name is Ruprecht, and he is being absolutely insane at this dinner table trying to scare off their con of choice so that she doesn't stay with him and just gives him the money, and he's being absolutely ridiculous. Insane, and Michael Caine's laughing the whole time. It's just so funny.
Not mother.
Not mother. Oh my God, it's hilarious. I can't get enough. If you haven't seen Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, first of all, it's a pretty good con artist movie, and there are, I don't know, 5 or 6 scenes that I watched it the other night, and I woke up my wife laughing. She fell asleep on me on the couch, and I woke her up laughing and I was like trying to keep it quiet. There's 5 or 6 scenes. I hope I'm not building it up too much, but I can't get through them without laughing like uncontrollably. Dirty Rotten Scoundrel. This is a good one.
Yeah. Underrated.
Allegedly. Underappreciated.
Yeah.
Jack, let's talk about your number one.
My number one underrated film, questionably underrated, we'll talk about it, is Spy Game.
Hell yes.
Yes. 2001, directed by Tony Scott.
Our guy.
Starring, you got it, Robert Redford and Brad Pitt. This is a espionage thriller. Don't need to say anything more than that.
It's fantastic.
I feel like I remember it being billed as somewhat as we're getting Robert Redford and the new Robert Redford, which was at the time I think was like a that's a great comparison.
Yeah.
And it was pretty early. It was
early.
Yeah, we're like 10 years into, at the most 10 years into the Brad Pitt's career. So it's relatively early. And I think everybody knew that he was already a big star, obviously, but that was going to continue. So it's just like, let's get Robert Redford and Brad Pitt together and put him in an espionage thriller. And it's incredible. And this is a big one that I was alluding to at the beginning of the pod. If you like espionage thrillers, if you like Bourne Identity, something like that, you're going to love this movie.
Oh,
nothing wrong with it.
Oh, it's great.
It is about a retiring CIA agent.
Yeah.
Who
he's
on
retiring
his last
that day.
Yeah, on his last day has to work to save Brad Pitt, who is a former colleague,
and
from getting executed.
Trainee.
And it is. Yeah. Robert Redford is like his mentor.
Yeah.
They have a rocky past because of certain things.
Yeah.
And you're getting it non-linearly. You
Yeah,
start off, it's Robert Redford's last day, it's mellow, blah blah blah, and
he gets a tip from
actually,
somebody
it
in
happens
China
right when he wakes up. Someone calls him, so he doesn't even get to enjoy
some connection
his last
in China.
day.
He's been captured. Brad Pitt's been captured in this Chinese prison,
and the guy on the phone's like, "You got to get to work before someone tells you about this, so it's not known that you know."
Right. Yeah, and
or something.
I think he's like, I have to call this in or something like that. You have to get to work before I do that. He's like, can you give me what? He's like, you have like 5 minutes or whatever. Right. I don't remember. Yeah. But
it's like 20. It's like, how long does it take you to get to work? He's like 30, 40. He's like, you got to get there in 25 minutes.
Right.
And then he speeds through Washington, D.C.,
yeah.
which is awesome.
And then, so part of the movie, they're interviewing, like the higher ups in the CIA are interviewing Robert Redford to find out more about his relationship to Brad Pitt and why he got taken, why he was even in China in the first place, what he was after, and kind of low key, like, can they cut him off? There's some sort of trade negotiations going on that they don't want to disrupt with China or something like that.
Yeah, basically the U.S. government wants to let China kill Brad Pitt because
for some reason,
to not disrupt relations between the U.S. and China.
And they're trying to figure out, like, can we like cut this guy off and let him go?
Yeah, like what's the
collateral?
Because nobody actually knows.
Collateral,
they're
good
CIA,
movie.
They're CIA agents, so nobody knows actually what happened with their past. And
right.
So it's kind of like Robert Redford giving you the history. It's actually an interesting. We've talked about maybe doing a. This was our friend Adam Murray's idea, but we've talked about doing an all-in-one-day movie. Oh. And this is an interesting play on that because the through line of the modern story is all in one day. It takes place on his last day of work.
And then as he's telling you the story throughout, you're kind of getting flashbacks of their training. What?
We gotta talk about this. They don't even remotely try to age or to try to de-age Robert Redford. He is Robert Redford in 2001 at the beginning of this movie. And then they start with the flashbacks. They're like, let's go back to Vietnam. And they flash back to Vietnam, and it is the same Robert Redford.
Hey, man, Tony Scott, he did all his budget was helicopter shots.
Yeah. It was a pretty funny thing I
Yeah.
noticed on my last rewatch. There's obviously twists and turns because it's an espionage thriller.
Yeah.
Not the most crazy denouement or like revelation, but
No.
it's great.
It's just a fun. You
I
know
think
what?
a lot of people have seen it. This was the one that I was saying. I think more people than any of my other movies have seen this movie.
That's
if I
probably
go
true.
up onto the street, but
It made 143 globally.
Yeah, it did.
143 million. 62 domestically, which isn't a ton,
no.
but it's a Tony Scott action thriller, so
Right.
it's certainly not unknown.
Roger Ebert gave it a whopping 2.5 out of whatever stars, so he didn't like it. So that's good enough for underrated.
R.I.P.,
right there.
but that's wrong.
That's wrong. This is a good movie.
I love this movie.
It's also before the Bourne movies, and it feels very similar to.
This is also, I was thinking about doing a couple other Tony Scott movies. As I mentioned earlier, I don't want to do any repeat directors. I had
Right.
a couple queued up.
Of course.
But then you wanted to talk about Spy Game, and let me
I
tell
called
you,
that one right off.
I am not opposed to it.
This was making my top 5 from the get-go.
I love Spy Game.
I love Spy Game too.
Uh,
And they're related. Brad Pitt and Robert Redford work so well with each other.
I was
It's
about to say-
really, really good chemistry.
I don't even care about the mechanics of the plot. Like, if you
No.
get two really big movie stars and put them in a spy thriller, there's almost a zero chance I'm going to dislike this movie.
Yeah. But they specifically just play off. It's not just them being stars. They have really good chemistry.
Oh, definitely. It's really good. There's Moon.
Yeah, my cat just meowed. He agrees. Spy Game is awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. Also, the operation that he cites at the end is Operation Dinner Out, and you can. I'm not going to tell you what the operation is.
Okay.
I'm treading lightly.
All right.
I'm just going to say that Operation Dinner Out gets worked in a lot of my normal speech.
Oh, nice.
I use it a lot. There's
That's
even
good.
this. Well, never mind. I'm going to save that one. But I use it a lot. Okay. There's even a beer called Middle Out from Fieldwork, and there's a Fieldwork right by our house. And every once in a while, we'll go get pizza and beer, or I'll just go pick up some beer. And I'm like, and every time I see it, I'm like, I'm getting Operation Dinner Out. And Becky's like,
Jeez.
what are you talking about? I'm like, it's from Spy Game. She's like, that's not what the beer is called. It's called Middle Out. I was like, it's close enough.
Stop talking about Spy Game.
It's like, I can't.
Help me.
It's either going to be that or a different Tony Scott movie. Oh, man. We did it.
We did it.
Underrated sort of movies.
Yeah.
Underappreciated
This is our
movies.
first installment in hearing us talk about movies that we consider not rated high enough
Yeah.
or seen enough.
All these movies should be more appreciated.
Go
than they
watch
are.
all of these movies.
You have homework.
/ if you like these movies too, awesome. Let's hang out.
Let's be friends. We're definitely going to do this again.
Yeah.
Should we do overrated at some point, or is that too harsh? Becky said we should do it, but also that contrasts with our no wrong opinions. Let's do it.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
Yeah. Overrated could be dangerous between you and I.
It could be.
I think that.
We might have some differing takes.
I think we talk about movies with each other and like more than anybody talking about else. So when we're talking about overrated, it might be one of our movies that we talk about too much. Whoa,
If we
did
do
I make that make sense?
Not really.
Okay.
If we do overrated, we definitely should not tell each other what the lists are.
I'm scared.
It's going to be a bloodbath. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yep.
This was a slightly shorter episode. We did a little bit better this time, but
Yeah.
we got to talking about the movies as we always do, and they went longer than we anticipated.
Yeah.
So we had fun. We hope you did too. Jack, any closing notes?
Go see them.
They're sick.
These are
all of
good.
them.
These are all good recs.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you in the next one.